y'all late. I was. My own funeral.
All right. Without further ado, the man of the hour, our very own Aaron Petrone. Come on up. Give him a hand. Okay, go grab something to drink. And then come on and have a seat.
We got the chicken.
All right. Aaron, thank you so much for saying yes.
I didn't have much an option.
You really didn't, and I am so appreciative of that.
Hello.
All right, so as everybody knows, this is our Icon Business Builders. We do this the first Tuesday of every month at 11:30. I'm so glad you're here. Enjoy your lunch. Thank you again, Washita Roofing, for lunch and supporting our agents in our office. So today we're going to talk to Aaron Petrone. Aaron, how long have you been in real estate?
This is just over 10 years for me.
A decade. Did you think coming in you'd be here this long?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What actually inspired you to pursue this career in real estate?
I had a very close friend that was a Norman real estate agent, and he worked kind of all around the old part of town near the hospital, kind of East Porter. And he was one of those guys that would, he kind of knew of all the pocket listings. He'd made deals come together. He had a little crew. So if someone wanted to buy something and the seller wanted, he'd get places painted and fixed up. And so I was kind of, as a kid, I was running around with him, painting places, touching up places, and he was putting deals together.
So how old were you then?
That was between like 15, 17.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you got your first taste of this business.
Yeah.
Tell me who you're talking about. Not many people know.
Michael Hand. He was an agent here in Norman for many years, and he passed away with COVID. So.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Can you share a story of how you made the decision to actually, kind of get transitioned into real estate? Because you kind of did it.
Yeah, I can kind of tell you what did
that.
it. So I was in the military, came back, started going to OU, and instead of like really focusing on my grades, I bought a liquor store, which makes sense. So I had this liquor store for about 10 years, and trying to make some positive changes in my life. I wanted to sell it and move on, and I sold it. I signed an agreement with a different agent, D. Womack, who knew someone who would buy it, and I sold it in one day, or she sold it in one day and made $70,000 off of me.
Sweet.
So
is that when you said I'm in the wrong business?
Kind of, yeah. So I saw kind of what, between that transaction and then I had bought Michael helped me buy a duplex prior to that, and I made some money, living in one side and leasing the other out. So I'd had several other real estate transactions, but that one I kind of really realized the amount of money you can make on commissions.
So how did you transition in to start selling real estate?
After I sold the liquor store, I was really trying to be a fireman. So I was an EMT, and I was working with MSTAT, and I kind of went through the hiring process a couple times, and I made it to the chief's interviews, but I was much older and smaller than all the other candidates, and they weren't going to hire me. So I took my real estate exam, got my license, and I was kind of doing both. I was running on an ambulance, and then the next day I was at the old office bothering everybody about how to be a real estate agent.
I think that was back. I think you were just transitioning in when I first got here a little over 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago.
Yeah,
I think you were
years.
you were just getting started full time and building all this. So was that a defining moment for you of, I don't think this fireman thing's going to go, so I need to do something different? Or did you have like a defining moment?
No, I think that, kind of being in real estate was something I always really wanted to do. And then like a fireman was something I also really wanted to do. And even if one didn't work out, I could still have done both of them. So it was kind of pursuing two goals at the same time, but I was really relieved because being an EMT is miserable. I don't know if anyone has ever had any EMS experience. Anybody? No.
Anybody?
It is the worst. So be happy for the job you have now, because being on an ambulance for 12 hours a day is terrible. So yeah, that took a little bit of that to realize how bad I don't want to do that.
So when you think real estate's really hard, just
Right.
go back to those memories.
Just go do chest compressions on an old person for 30 minutes and you don't want to do that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You always make it a hard transition with your commentary.
That's all.
So, okay. So how did your life in Oklahoma play a role in choosing this career in real estate?
Well, I think I understood that part of being a real estate agent is having a bunch of connections. And since I grew up here in Norman, or my family's been here since 1981, it kind of made sense. And then having that business near campus made sense that I would have a lot of connections. And that's proven to be pretty true. It certainly made it a lot easier for me. I'm a warm connection kind of guy. I think we all like that in this business, to get a referral and not have to, call a whole bunch of people that don't want to talk to you. So yeah, just kind of having a lot of connections in Norman.
Well, let's talk about your life in Oklahoma. What do you enjoy most about living and working in Oklahoma? What is it?
Living and working in Oklahoma.
He loves the vacations.
Yeah. Living and working. I mean, it's hard. I've been here my whole life, so hard question to answer, because I've been in so many different places in the United States and even out of the country that don't really want to be here all that much. I guess one of the nice things about Oklahoma is people think it's just this flat place, but there is actually some really amazing state parks all around that are, have mountainous areas and lakes and rivers. And so there's good places to explore, and they're not too far away. And then, friends and family are still close by for the most part. So
If you could live anywhere, this isn't on the questions I gave you that I was going to be asking, but if you could live anywhere, where would it be?
I got to travel to Costa Rica after I came back from the military, and I did a 40-something day backpack trip. And so I would live there, Costa Rica. Yep. For
Gotcha.
sure.
Let me ask, how has the local community shaped your approach to real estate?
How's the local community? Well, we kind of, the heartbeat of Norman, I think, and maybe Oklahoma, is the University of Oklahoma Sooners. That's right here in Norman. And I graduated from OU in 2012. So it only took me 12 years to graduate from college.
But you got there.
I got there, and I did it. I did it to get the ring, because I really didn't care about the degree I was getting, but I wanted to get the ring. And then after I graduated, I didn't get a ring. I didn't ever buy it. So It's like $400 I didn't want to spend after
After
all of that shit. I just didn't buy a damn ring.
It's time to get your ring.
I should
We
get
need
it.
to get him a ring. Let's take a
They're
collection.
expensive.
I know.
Okay, so having the university close by, I have been involved in a lot of transactions where people are moving to the campus area. They're buying investment properties for their children, or just investment properties in general, because the rental market in the campus area is good place to invest money if you're a real estate investor, or if you're trying to have a second home that serves your family in some way. So that's kind of what one of my little niche markets I've done for quite a while.
Yeah, and you have had a lot of success there. So do you find that your knowledge of the area helps you,
Oh yeah.
especially down in the OU
Yeah.
campus area?
Can
Can you give an example?
Yeah.
Can you give an example?
So growing up here, and then meeting people that are investing or moving back to town from having been gone, or someone referring me. I mean, I've lived all in different parts of Norman, had friends in all different parts of Norman. So having the understanding of what parts of town serve what kind of functions, Main Street, north part of Norman, east part of Norman, kind of the pluses and minuses of all the different kind of areas of town. Like, you develop trust with people knowing an area really well and having lived in it. And so I think when people come in from out of town and want to see, make an investment here, and I get to drive them around and tell them all my different experiences and stuff like that, it really develops trust and easy to develop, interpersonal relationship with people. And so I think it's served me pretty well.
So, okay, so what strategies, we're going to move into kind of the real estate business itself now.
Great.
So
This
what,
is not going to be the good part. Talk more about me. That's I can make you laugh. Forget about all the
if
business.
we want to transition to any of that, I want to do some more of that.
All right.
What strategies have you found most effective in attracting and retaining clients?
Attracting and retaining. So some years ago now, probably 6 or 7, I was just struggling to figure out what the next step to take was, needed business. And I was working out of the bonus room at my house in Cambridge and looking at the bold laws, because I'd taken bold a time or two. So I was thinking about what you focus on expands. And from there, I did a CMA for my neighborhood, and I saw that there was 20 something transactions in my neighborhood alone over the past year. And I kind of added up the commissions that would have traded hands, and there was $300 something thousand in commissions that were happening in my neighborhood. And so from that point, I developed some marketing, some started with door knocking, and then it was a monthly CMA that I would mail out. And then I hosted open houses for listings that weren't mine, which I still do. I did one on Sunday. But kind of circle prospecting in my own neighborhood has been a great way for me to pick up business listings in my neighborhood. But it has just been, I can't count the number of transactions that have just come out of the past clients. People refer me business even though they haven't done business with me, because they know I'm in real estate from marketing. And I ended up being I'm going to be the homeowner association president this January, which is probably a terrible thing. I just checked the skunk trap this morning. That
You did?
Now
We knew there was
I'm
gonna be
going to
a
be
book
known
written.
as the skunk guy in Cambridge instead of the real estate agent guy.
Like we went to family reunion.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm catching skunks now. Is because we have a ridiculous amount
The
of them.
morning we left for LA last year, he he got skunk on him.
I had skunk. So I smelled like I had like a pound of marijuana in my bag.
Nice.
Getting on the plane. It
They
smelled
let
like,
you on.
yeah, it did.
Oh my God, that is
So
hilarious.
funny.
That's hilarious. So yeah, and I will just say, from what I've seen of your business, especially with Cambridge, I mean, you do events there, you do your pumpkin carving, and that community knows you, and the fact that they know you from the real estate perspective probably didn't hurt in getting you into the HOA president role as well.
Yeah.
So, but do you think that's probably for the thing you think of that took your business and catapulted you?
Kind of that alongside of just kind of real consistent, gentle touches to my sphere of influence. Text message, phone calls, postcards. I'm not, I think we all have strengths. Mine is not like a great system of marketing. It's a lot of little different things in different ways, but I think the people that mean the most to me, that are my community in Norman, I consistently stay in front of them in one way, shape, or form. It's not super sexy and not smooth and doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I think I'm able to get in front of them enough to kind of have a presence that way.
How do you build, well, we just talked about it. How do you build and maintain relationships with your clients? You just said you stay in front of them. You stay top of mind in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And I think all real estate agents are always have that. That may be like the holy grail of real estate is having the perfect 36 touch plan. And I think we all may really want a good one. And so I think we're all kind of working towards that.
Do you have a 36 touch plan?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No,
wait,
I can't find it. It's just like
well,
the holy
because
grail.
the perfect one doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna team leader hat on. The perfect 36 touch doesn't exist. You have to go with what you got, and then you can increase, get it better as you go. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off.
No, that's okay.
All right. Do you use any unique or creative methods to stand out in a competitive market? Is that your unique? Do you use anything unique to stand out? Do you compete much? And I say that because you get mostly come list me.
Yeah, that's like, I think that's a two-edged sword there, is to have all my business seems to be warm, referrals. Hey, we used you, or we know you from whatever, we need your help. My family's buying or selling. So, it's great that I don't have to compete a lot against other agents a lot, because I don't have what Kyle would have. He's got this great, he showed me his presentation thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make something like that. And I haven't, and I don't I've never had to do that. I've never had to have this real perfect, I bring referrals for people I'm just meeting, here's some past clients, and then market data and, some things about me, but it's not super great. And it rarely makes any difference, because most of what I'm doing is referral type of business. I think it would be great for my business if I was getting in front of more potential clients, for sale by owners or expireds or whatever, where I need to do that. And maybe that's something I need to add into my business, because everybody wants more business, and to reach my goals, I'm probably going to need to either do something better with my past clients in Sphere, or get in front of new business, which I've got some things in place for this year that I'm doing, that I will need to be interviewing for sale by owner and expired. So I have some expectation to be working with that. Yeah.
Are there any resources, such as books, podcasts, or courses, that you'd recommend to others in the field?
I don't know. I think I just read a book that was recommended to me by a MAPS coach, and I think a lot of what kind of limits us is what's going on in our own head. Certainly, you need to know what you're doing as a real estate agent, and you need to have some experience to kind of, if you're not there, then the make it or fake it till you make it kind of thing is real. But a lot of the problems that we run into, I think, as agents is just confidence in ourselves, listening to limiting beliefs. And so I read a book just recently, and I just started it again. I actually read the last page and started the first page on the same day. But Living Untethered, and it really kind of helps you sift through all of the business going on in your mind, because we have a million thoughts happening all the time, a million directions your mind wants to go. And I think that makes a big difference in how we show up, is if we're able to kind of control a little bit of our psyche a little bit. So maybe
Okay.
that one.
I love that. And I love, he wrote Untethered Soul as well.
Mhm.
And so what is the piece that you gained from that really stuck with you, that had an impact, and
Mhm.
the impact made you do something different? Or
yeah, I kind of understand your
you know
question.
what I'm saying?
So I think part of that book is helping you sort through all the things you do in your life to reach certain and specific goals, which I think it all boils down to you're trying to feel safe, secure, happy, at peace. Those are kind of everything you do, every item you buy, every vacation you go on, you're looking for these kind of basic things. And so you're doing all kinds of different things to get to a specific state of mind or state of being.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've kind of put into applied through it is when I'm looking at part of my life and I'm about to take on some challenge or some argument or some disagreement, or give my head some space to deal with something, I can ask myself, is that going to bring what I really am looking for? Am I going to find the peace and happiness and security at the end of this? And if it's not, then I can more easily just kind of let go of that whole thing and just be like, no, I don't need to give my mind I don't need to give my head any rent with that thing. And so I think it's frees up your mind for some clarity to focus on what is important. And it helps you show up with better energy with your family and clients and stuff like that.
So speaking of family, how do you balance? Well, actually, I'm not on family yet. I have another question. How do you balance continuing education with the demands of your daily work?
He doesn't.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, still she won.
You just finished bold, did you not? Again.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big one. That's
Yeah, it
always a big
was.
one.
So not CE, continuing education, but just in the
Well,
business.
just in the business. How are you getting smarter? Growing your knowledge?
Yeah. Well, what?
That's a don't lie.
You can't if you want to.
I think being in an environment like this, you're around successful agents. You're always learning. So watching, having conversations, talking to your colleagues. What are you laughing at, Paul?
Your last minute CE. I remember seeing you in your office as you were
Oh.
finally wrapping it up.
Yeah, so not CE because I don't balance life.
I just remember seeing you there, finishing it up.
Yeah. But she's mentioning bold. So that was the fifth time I took bold. And, that type of course is, I think it's just something you need to know that you don't know. how to be successful in all these different possibilities of being successful. What paths can you take? What options are out there? What are the tricks to the trade? And so like taking a class like that, that many times, about once every 2 years, it's kind of an eye opener, a refresher. It shows you that kind of the work that comes from the top at Keller, which is lead gen, and all these different types of ways to lead gen really do work if you do it and you have some accountability to do it. So
Was glad you took it.
yeah, I
know. Okay, so now we're going to get on personal and family life. How do you manage the demand of real estate with having a family? Stop.
So I think for me, I've learned that, my kids are now 16 and 13. And, so 10 years I've been in this business since they were 6 and 3. So what I felt was the most important was, having dinner with my family on a regular basis, and then not being at or with them, and having my focus should be them, and then taking calls and telling them that I can't. So, setting some boundaries around the time that you're going to look back on and say, did I work through that whole thing? And were they trying to talk to me and I was on the phone? So if you can try to envision yourself, I wasn't perfect with it. Obviously, there's been times I've been super busy where I'd have to, go outside of what I'm speaking about now. But if you can envision yourself in the future and say, hey, did I really give my kids the focus, my family the focus that they need and deserve? I mean, you're doing all of this for that. I mean, that's really something you should realize, is everything you're doing is so you can have good time with your family. And if you are doing all this and not spending good time with your family, then don't do this. Right? I mean, it's really important to not let that. My daughter's about to be 18 and gone, and so I know I spent a tons of time at her softball and going to school things. So I made I carved out the right time, I feel like, for my family. So.
Do you feel like you did a good job?
Yeah, for sure.
I think you did too.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. Let's see here. What does your family think about your career in real estate?
Oh,
What would they say?
They would say, "Did you sell a house today? How much did you make?"
Oh,
Like everyone does when they look at real estate agents, is they're fascinated by the commissions, like Paul is. Calculating. Yeah. My son has been really sweet. Like, he kind of checks in with me, like, because it's on a simple level. It's, have you sold any houses recently? Are you doing okay? Like, so there's been some times it's been like, no, I haven't. And I think he wants to gauge how much stuff he can ask for right around. Like, he'll keep track of, you're going to sell a house next Friday? He'll be like, I'm going to ask for a new game on Friday. And then he'll probably get it.
yeah.
He's rubbed off on Braxton too.
Yeah. But I don't think Allison could care less about what I do. And my daughter, she just doesn't pay that much attention. She's doing Duolingo all the time, and she's studying and playing softball. So as long as they get what they need, then I think they don't really pay that much attention.
I gotcha. How do you spend your time outside of work to recharge?
It's good. I like, just for short little periods, if I need a break, I really like to go disc golfing. And so that's like, it's, a couple hours out, and disc golf courses are all in the woods and, just kind of in rural areas. So it's just quiet and peaceful, and there's nature. I get to see sometimes snakes and turtles and stuff that I like.
And skunks.
Yeah, I've seen skunks out there. And then it pushes you. It's a little competitive. So you've got a couple friends and you're trying to throw a piece of plastic farther than the other further and straighter than the next person. But I really like to hike and camp, and do things with my hands, fix things, and garden and stuff like that, grow stuff. So
Flip houses.
yeah, I'm working on flipping a house. It's taken me
I can't wait
little
to see
bit
this
longer.
one.
So our kind of funny part of it is, if you're buying stuff for the house to get done, then you're doing good. And so yesterday I spent a shitload of money buying stuff
You're doing
for the
good.
house. So I'm doing good. Someone else is going to install all the stuff. I can demo, but I've learned I'm not great at much
Leverage,
else.
right?
Yeah.
Leverage. Okay, so let's look forward a little bit. What are your goals for the next few years in real estate? What are your goals?
Well, so I set a 36 transaction or 36 unit goal for 2025, and brought back on a TC, which for some reason I think maybe some people have brought their TCs on and then never looked back. And I've actually told myself, I brought this TC on and I'm never looking back, and then I'll get slow and be like, oh, I can do this. So I did that. I brought TC back, and I'm never looking back. I'm not going to do TC work anymore.
It's on video now. We'll remind you.
And then I would really, I guess a goal would be to have eventually a VA that does the TC work, and does some marketing for me and some other kind of creative ideas that I have for lead gen, lead follow-up, marketing to past clients.
Do you enjoy the marketing part? Do you enjoy doing that?
I enjoy it when it's done.
Okay, I question answered that. So
Yeah.
maybe you don't love the.
I don't love
Creative
like
part of
trying to make the designs and like Canva and getting it all to look good. I mean, occasionally I can do some decent marketing things that I like, but having someone else that could give me a couple options and me pick one is probably where I'd go with that. So yeah, I think that's kind of a unit goal and some real consistent leverage with a VA or an in-person assistant that does assistant and TC work.
So by having that VA, the leverage that you need, is the goal there so you can create more business, or is it to create more time for?
Well, it would
other
be,
things?
yeah, it would be more business, because I think coming back to in my mind, the holy grail of the 36 touch plan, something that's really consistent, something I'm proud to send out, or proud to invite people to, or, touches that have value, that are thought out. I think we probably all have anxiety about that. Is like, it's stupid. No one wants that, but something that you can send out and be like, I'm glad that I'm sending these little gifts to people, or I do feel like there's value in these things I'm offering, to where, I think we have a concept that once you've provided value to people, you've earned the right to ask them for business. And so, or ask them for referrals or whatever, or reach out to them and say, who do you know? So having that consistently, and I've experienced that over 10 years, is if I'm done something or invited somebody to an event or whatever, I feel much more confident and comfortable calling them and being able to say, hey, I'm just checking in. Do you know anyone that I can help this year with real estate? So someone kind of paving that path for me and me being able to follow up with them and feeling confident that I have the right to ask them for referrals and stuff like that.
So is there a particular aspect of real estate you're excited to explore more deeply in the future?
So I have some investment properties now that I've kind of, as an agent over 10 years, I've been able to buy a few here and I'm flipping one, but owning more leaseholds is something I want to get into. And I also want to bring, I want to help people make investments. So more business like that. And then I really would like to have even a stronger like farming model. I saw some farming models at family reunion that were just amazing. Like how much they put into their farming and what they get out of it and there's some concepts, that you're farming and you're providing like money to the school and you're doing like, you look at the community rather than you look at what you can do to help the kind of the really local community and how that will, what impact that'll leave on your farm. And so there's some interesting ways to look at it. I think I would like to expand my farming.
Okay, so what's something you'd like to share with the group here that I didn't ask you any questions about? Have any stories?
Share with the group.
We want to talk about.
Okay. I was talking with my parents or something. They asked me about this transaction that I'm working on that I'm going to close on my birthday. One of the biggest transactions I've had and get to close it on my birthday. So that's exciting. But I was trying to, you guys know when you have a deal and you're like, oh, well, this one came from here, came from here, came from here. And you just kind of tack it all the way back. You trace it back to where it came from. And how I know the people I know today that I'm closing this deal on my birthday this month. I was in an ambulance and drove past a for sale by owner, took a picture of the sign. This is after I took bold, called them, got an appointment, got the listing. And then from there it was different house, open house, and met that person. And it just cascaded all the way. So, 8 years of from that one phone call. And like, if I were to add up how much money I've made off of making the decision to make that call, it would be crazy. I mean, it's probably 25 different transactions. It's a lot of money. So I guess if I were to like say something all crazy and enlightening where I start floating afterward.
Yeah.
It's like, just try it. Like, just do, like, learn the different tools in real estate. For sale by owners, calling for sale by owners is one. And try to do, try them out, find out what you're good at. And then, just go all in. And, I guess that's it.
He's floating.
You're floating.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that's it. Just kind of
do it.
Just do it. Yeah,
Just
just
do
do
it.
it and believe in it. And if you're not doing anything, if you're not making calls today, you're not writing contracts today, you're not closing anything in 30, 60, 90 days. So if you want a paycheck, do something.
Good.
And believe that it'll work. Because if I could do it from an ambulance, you can too. So.
All right. Well, let's ask Aaron any questions you might have. And I'm gonna say, don't answer. I'm supposed to repeat it so that the people here can hear the
People
question.
here?
Yeah, the
Where?
people in the box.
Who's in the box?
Everybody's out there. You're on
What's in
TV.
the
You're on
box?
TV. You're
Oh,
being
geez.
live streamed. So Grady, what's your question? Don't answer until I repeat it.
When did you realize you're a success story?
Ah.
Ooh.
So
When
he
she
said-
asked me to be,
Grady asked, when did you realize you're a success story?
oh,
Now it's your turn.
so I think 10 years being able to support a family and make real estate investments and genuinely help people in countless, like, I know the best feeling is laying down, going to bed and be like, I helped them save so much money on that. Or they wanted that house so bad and I came up with the right offer that won. That has happened enough, and making it 10 years really tells me that I'm a real estate professional and people trust me and they call me for real estate stuff. So I don't question I don't have any doubt about that anymore.
And you're an icon. Who else has a question? Peggy.
Since I'm not from here, and I know there's an argument about Norman, where do you divide East and West Norman?
Okay, so Peggy's is asking the question that since she is not from here, where do you define East and West Norman? Where's like the defining line?
Because he's gonna say where he grew up. 'Cause that
No,
affects-
it's not. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
West Norman is west of I-35.
Okay.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so there's Central Norman, West Norman, East Norman, North Central Norman,
Isn't
South
that so
Central
funny?
Norman.
Do you disagree?
Totally.
West Norman's west I-35, period. Anything else, you're wrong.
That's so funny. See, we all three have different answers.
We were just talking about what campus
I'm
was.
closer to you than yeah. This is so great because I said that earlier.
I say Porter.
Anything west of Porter, she say is west. Like to him,
If
Oh.
someone said, I wanted to
So-
live in West Norman, you'd sell them a house over off of,
Y'all are just trying to be.
On Hines?
Sims.
I would typically basically say campus if you want west of campus. Now, if you want west of, but I'll specify if you want west of 35, that's like suburbia.
Yeah.
I'll say
Okay.
it like that.
Okay.
there's lots of room.
There's a lot of stuff
A lot of room there.
Okay.
We started debating it, I'm always interested in learning.
So no, there's not one answer.
Right.
Because he grew up by campus.
Yeah.
It's totally, it's like very, very small bubble of like what the world is. Like campus for you is probably different from a lot of people. Especially if they're not from Norman, you see people like say, I got a campus listing, and you're like, I know you.
No, you don't. Not on the corner of Chautauqua and Boyd.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
So there's just a lot of chatter going on right now about where is East and West, and I think there's a lot of different opinions. So, okay, other questions?
So
Jerica.
I thought you started after me. What month did you start?
So Jerica's asking, what month did you start?
It was
So,
2014.
2014, I got my real estate license in May, and I think I came here in
Okay.
October. I think I came to Keller in
I
October
came in February or January.
of
So
20,
you're not quite 10 years yet.
October of 2014.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
10
so you
years
can't quite
in
do that
October.
yet.
Yeah. So I'm 10 years already.
I think so.
What?
That
Yeah.
was January of 14. Yeah, so I'm
14.
finishing my 11.
Yeah, you're gonna be 11.
I'll be 11.
Oh.
Lordy knows.
All right.
Okay, any other questions? We're at 12:30. Any other questions? Yes.
You talked immensely about doing business where you grew up and you had a business and leaning on your connections, yet you called a FISBO and that resulted in all of this business. Were those connections actually just a comfort zone for you, or did they actually provide business? And what advice do you have for new agents trying to take advantage of their connections?
Yeah.
Oh, how do I repeat that?
He's
Connect-
right there. He's right there.
Okay, everybody heard that? Okay, thank you. Go.
Bold, like I said, you use the tools. You look that there are all kinds of lead generating tools. One is calling a for sale by owner. The very first 2 transactions I had in real estate were calling, I got the A's in my phone, and it was Asher Crapel and Alvin Lee Benedict, and they both had moved to Austin, which was crazy, and they both had rentals here, and I didn't know that they had rental properties, but my goal was to start in the A's and call everyone I knew. So I got to Alvin and I got to Asher, and I said, hey, I'm in real estate now. You know, my previous life, I would walk in the liquor store and pull on the open sign, and people would come to me for business, or they'd come shop. But I explained, I got to reach out to people now. And so, you know, just calling people I knew ended up in me selling both of their properties, and they were in the A's. So I didn't have any, and didn't live here. Yeah. So I didn't have any, and they were friends of mine. So they were just people I knew. I didn't have any idea that they needed real estate help, but just getting my name out there through a very standard, like, that's the script I came up with was, you know, I need to let people know, because you don't have like an open sign. You don't walk around with like a sign that says
Yes,
you're
you
open.
could,
You could,
but
you certainly could. So just combination of different things, you know. There's probably a lot of different lead generating methods that I am not ever going to do and not good at doing. You're really great at, like, hey, I'm with this. You do a lot of social media stuff to bring other people into your world.
Does that work a lot? Cool.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
this icon.
what?
We're talking about you, icon.
I know, but I'm just saying there's things that, there's things that I do that others don't, and there's stuff that other people do that I probably will never do.
And it's really finding
Yeah.
what not just works for you, but what you enjoy doing,
Yeah,
because you better like it.
that's right.
So, one more question. Any other questions? All right, Aaron.
She
Oh,
does.
another one. Okay.
From your neighborhood and all the things that you've done there, can you quantify like how much business that you've got from that?
She's
Yeah.
asking, from your neighborhood in the farm area, can you quantify about how much business you've gotten from there?
I've got some numbers on my board in there, but that only counts the homes that I've listed and the buyers I've brought in there. I would say it's probably 30 to 35 transactions at
In what period of time?
5 years or
Cool.
5 years or so.
That's no joke.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Basically, in a little over 1.
and that's, you know, marketing. I'm doing once a month postcards. Like I said, I held an open house at someone else's listing. How embarrassing would it be to list someone's house and then have another agent that works harder than you come show up and do your open house and get the business that you get from that? Oh my God! Like, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I had a closing from marketing Cambridge the other day, and I have a listing going live in Cambridge tomorrow. So
Nice.
it's just an ongoing
Nice.
stream of business. And I got phone calls on that coming soon listing. So, and I'll get to market the open house, the under contract, sold. It's been good.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, Aaron, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for participating and tuning in.
Good job.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, that was.
Don't forget your shades.
Okay, and